Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine18 Tarot and Books. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. Welcome to another installment of Top Tarot Trumps, a tag started by Musings by Masha, wherein every couple of weeks we share our top favorite representations of a particular major arcana card. This time I'm sharing my favorite High Priestesses. In this case, I have managed to stick to 5. The limit that I had imposed on myself when I started with the Fool and promptly broke when I got to the Magician. I'm trying, sort of. So, my top High Priestesses, again, this is in no particular order. These are just 5 from my collection that I love and love for different reasons. They're quite different from each other, and I think they each bring something to how I understand the High Priestess, and so this is why I chose them. The first one that I would like to show is the High Priestess from the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot by Fyodor Pavlov. This is a mass market deck now. It was indie previously. And this depiction of the High Priestess is of the Oracle of Delphi. So you can see here at the bottom of the card that there is kind of smoke or steam coming up from the ground over which the Oracle of Delphi would sit and make her predictions. And I really like the Oracle of Delphi as an inspiration for a High Priestess because, of course, the Oracle of Delphi is known for making, oracular predictions or forecasts that are accurate but also very cryptic, that are true, but that the person receiving the message would frequently misinterpret, uh, might misinterpret as being more favorable perhaps for them than it actually was, interpreting a great victory as being a victory coming to them when in fact it was coming to their opponent, for example. Because the oracle does not speak in ways that are kind of concise, clear, or direct. And I think, that this suits the kind of intuitive knowing that I associate with the High Priestess, the kind of insight that comes through modalities like divination, which may not be, perfectly clear all the time, that may be more clear in hindsight after whatever you're asking your cards about, has had a chance to play out, um, or whatever tool you happen to be using, tool or tools. I also just visually like the way that she is in this kind of drape of fabric with the stars behind. I like the flowing garment. I like that Fyodor Pavlov has retained the pomegranate in her hand and the crescent moon there above her head. I like the kind of composition of this card a lot. And of the ones that I've chosen, this is one that leans, I would say, more traditional than the others that I have picked, though it is also non-traditional in a number of ways. So I really like the decisions that Fyodor Pavlov made in choosing this High Priestess. The next one I chose is Tarot of the Crystal World by Brooke Penrose. This is a deck that has already made an appearance for a favorite Fool. It is absolutely one of my top favorite decks, definitely in my top favorite deck of 2023 that I received it. I love this deck so much. And I love this High Priestess. I mentioned with the Magician in my last installment of these videos for one of them that I really liked that the Magician was depicted as an older person. And I feel like this one is an elder as well. I definitely read this figure as a, sage, wise grandmother. I love this garment that they're wearing. I really like the big headpiece there and all the coins there. This High Priestess I think is just really cool. I really like, for lack of better language, like I really like the vibe of this High Priestess. Uh, she exudes divinatory wisdom to me. I love this one. The next one that I chose is another very modern High Priestess, and that is the Next World Tarot by Christy C. Rode. And this one we see again some traditional High Priestess symbols, a moon, pomegranates there behind. And I really, really love this image. And I'll just read really briefly from the guidebook for the Next World Tarot. Christy C. Rode does give, some indication in the guidebook of some of the kind of creative choices made here. And this is just a part of the entry. I'm not going to read the whole thing. When your energy centers are aligned and your trauma is suddenly unfamiliar, you experience awakening, and evidence of your personal power sprawls before your world of wilted books and half-written love letters. The High Priestess protects the threshold between self-doubt and enlightenment. She is self-preserving, understanding that her powers are sacred, doubted by colonizers but revered by her family and the ghosts of her ancestors. She speaks through her intuition and holds space to decipher whether we need to administer a public outcry or quietly cultivate a long-term solution. The High Priestess exists between the familiarity of her tropical roots, the abundance and fertility of an organic harvest, and the light of the moon. I love the emphasis in the book on um, you know, divining for tactics and strategy. I love that. I love the, you connection of ancestry and connection of kind of family lineages and lineages of practice. I and I just love the image. I love how colorful it is. I love this, candle setup at the bottom. I like how, you know, the figure is framed by these palm fronds and sitting so near to the water, which of course, I associate water with the High Priestess and intuition as well. So having that, ocean there in the background, I think is really beautiful. I really like this High Priestess. The next one that I chose is numbered differently because it comes from a deck that has renumbered the major arcana, but it is the Priestess card. And that is the Priestess card from the Ocean Dry Tarot. This deck is, I think, available now on Game Crafter. And I just love this kind of emanation coming from this shell. I love the colors on this deck, which are not going to come through on my mediocre webcam. Colors are very important in this deck. You can see a kind of color key at the top there. There's a lot of very deliberate color symbolism running throughout this deck, and different colors being used in some cards and not others for particular reasons. It's brilliant, a brilliant, brilliant deck. And this just makes me think, of course, of hearing the ocean in a shell, and stopping to listen to nature and messages from nature. I love that it combines a kind of watery aspect and also lunar aspect of the priestess. And, it's the only one here that I've chosen that doesn't have a person on it. And, for one that doesn't have a picture of an actual priestess figure on it, I think it really does convey the spirit of the High Priestess card. I love the colors. This, is almost kind of like a very bright lime green with this kind of jewel tone, dark blue and dark purple. Like these are my favorite colors in the world all together here. And so this card is just stunning to me. And it very much reflects how I think of the High Priestess without having really much of any of what you would expect in terms of traditional symbolism in a High Priestess, aside from the fact that the moon is there. This whole deck is mind-blowingly beautiful to me, but this priestess is very special, I think. The last High Priestess is also one that is very special to me personally and a favorite major, and it is another one from a deck that has already made an appearance in terms of the top tarot trumps tag. So I'm only on the third installment and I'm already getting some repeats. And that is the Great Lakes Tarot. And you can see here there's a figure there standing on these rocks with these big, ancient, wise old conifers there growing. And the water is dark and the moon is full, or I'm going to presume it's full. Can't see all of it, but I'll just assume. And this very much, this deck is where I live, right? This depicts a specific location that I have not been to, but this looks like a lot of places that I spend a lot of time in terms of canoeing and camping and things like this, not too far north of where I live on the Shield. This kind of terrain is very familiar to me. And, if I can take out my cards and read for myself and tap into my intuition in the kind of perfect setting that I can possibly imagine for that, it's this. Tapping into that kind of intuitive knowledge that comes with divinatory practices, which is again something I associate very strongly with the High Priestess, under a full moon by a big body of water, like that is it. That is it. I always have to bring my divinatory tools camping, very carefully in a dry sack, so that they don't get soaked. But this is bliss to me in terms of, again, listening to nature, receiving wisdom from the environment. This is that perfectly encapsulated for me. So that is why this is one of my favorite High Priestesses, the Great Lakes Tarot. So again, for my 5, I have Fyodor Pavlov's Oracle of Delphi. I have the Tarot of the Crystal World by Brooke Penrose. I have the Next World Tarot, and this is a mass market, the full-size one. I have the Priestess from the Ocean Dry Tarot, and I have the High Priestess from the Great Lakes Tarot. Those are my favorite High Priestesses. If you have a favorite High Priestess, let me know in the comments. If you have any of these in your collection, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Have a good one. Bye.